March 18, 1945. 2:34 p.m. South China Sea. A. B-24 Liberator breaks through the cloud deck at 8,000 feet, American markings visible against the dull gray paint. Captain Frank Mitchell sees it from 12,000 feet, and his blood runs cold. That bomber is heading straight toward a Japanese convoy. 23 men on board. A crew that has no idea they're flying into a trap. Mitchell banks hard. Keys his microphone. B-24, this is Eagle Leader. You're approaching hostile waters. Enemy fighters inbound. Break off immediately. He tries again. And again. Static. Their long-range radio must be damaged. The Liberator maintains course. Steady and unwavering. Below, 40 Japanese Zeros are climbing. They've already spotted the lone bomber. In the briefing room this morning, intelligence showed reconnaissance photos. This convoy is in cargo ships. It's a carrier group of fighter escorts. The Japanese have been waiting for someone to make exactly this mistake. Mitchell has maybe 2 minutes. If that bomber continues, 23 Americans will either die in the sky or spend the rest of the war in a Japanese prison camp. He's read the reports from liberated camps. Cabanatuan, Mukden, the torture chambers, the starvation. Most prisoners don't make it home. He advances his throttles, pulls his P-51 Mustang alongside the B-24's cockpit and waves frantically. The pilot waves back, gives a thumbs up. He thinks Mitchell is providing escort. The bomber pilot has no idea what's below him. No idea 40 Zeros are 3 minutes from contact. Mitchell has run out of options. He pulls ahead of the B-24, takes a breath, and opens fire into the bomber's number 2 engine. Frank Joseph Mitchell grew up in Bakersfield, California, born March 14, 1921. His father, Thomas, worked the oil fields. His mother, Catherine, managed a boarding house. Working-class family. Nothing extraordinary. But Frank spent every spare moment at Meadows Field, watching aircraft practice touch and goes. By the time he graduated high school in 1939, he had his future mapped. June 1940, before Pearl Harbor, before America entered the war, Mitchell enlisted in the Army Air Corps. He wanted to fly before the draft decided his fate for him. Most of his friends thought he was crazy. The war in Europe seemed distant, someone else's problem. December 7th, 1941, changed everything. By then, Mitchell was already in flight training at Randolph Field, Texas. While the nation mobilized, he was learning aerodynamics, navigation, aerial gunnery. By March 1942, he had his wings. By July, he was a first lieutenant with orders to England. The Army issued him a Republic P-47 Thunderbolt. The P-47 was built like a tank with wings. Massive, powerful, nearly indestructible. 2,000 horsepower Pratt and Whitney engine. Top speed 433 miles per hour. 850 caliber machine guns. Combat radius of 800 miles. German pilots called it the Jug, short for Juggernaut. Mitchell painted a cartoon eagle on the nose. Wings spread, talons out. Named the plane Eagle Eye. He joined the 56th Fighter Group, 63rd Fighter Squadron. His first combat mission was 32 days away. August 19, 1942. Dieppe, France. The mission brief was simple. Provide air cover for the Canadian ground assault. Keep the Luftwaffe off the beaches. 600 Allied aircraft. The largest air operation yet. The Germans brought everything they had. Focke-Wulf 190s. Messerschmitt 109s. Over 900 sorties in a single day. The sky over Dieppe became a killing field. Mitchell's first combat experience was total chaos. Aircraft everywhere, twisting, diving, burning. Tracer fire cutting through clouds. The radio screaming with calls for help. He followed his flight leader through a diving attack on a formation of FW-190s. The 190 was faster than the 109, more heavily armed, a brutal opponent. German pilots were flying aircraft specifically designed to kill American bombers. Mitchell locked onto a 190 that broke from formation. The German pilot tried to dive away. The P 47 was faster in a dive than almost anything in the sky. Mitchell followed him down from 18,000 feet to 4,000. His gun sight settled on the 190's fuselage. He pressed the trigger. 8 guns, 3,200 rounds per minute combined. The Focke-Wulf came apart. First kill. The battle lasted 7 hours. By sunset, the beaches were littered with Canadian dead, and Mitchell had 2 more victories. 3 kills. First mission. His squadron commander called him lucky. October 1942. 2 more FW-190s over occupied France. That's 5 confirmed. He's an ace in 3 months. The 56th Fighter Group becomes known as Zemke's Wolf Pack, named for their commander, Colonel Hub Zemke. They're hunters. Mitchell is one of the best. January 11th, 1943. Something changes. Mitchell spots a German aircraft he's never seen before. Sleek, twin-boomed, fast. A Messerschmitt Me 4-10 Hornisse. Germany's new destroyer fighter, built to kill bombers in formations. Heavily armed, 4 forward-firing cannons, 2 remote-control gun turrets. The 410 could shred AB-17 in seconds. What follows is a 6-minute dogfight over Belgium. The 410 is fast, but the P-47 has altitude advantage. Mitchell dives from above, forces a German into defensive maneuvers. The 410 pilot is good. He uses cloud for cover, tries to extend and climb. Mitchell stays with him, cuts off angles, anticipates every move. The 410 breaks for home. Mitchell follows across the border into Germany. His wingman is screaming on the radio to break off. Mitchell stays. 1 long burst. The 410's right engine explodes. The German pilot bails out at 9,000 feet. 6 victories. 2 different aircraft types. March 1943. 2 more 190s fall to his guns over the Ruhr Valley. 8 confirmed kills. He's one of the top scorers in the European theater. Then his luck turns. April 17, 1943. Bremen. Deep penetration raid. The 8th Air Force is sending 100 B-17s to bomb the Focke-Wulf factory. Mitchell's group provides escort for the final leg. The Luftwaffe sends up 70 fighters. The sky becomes a meat grinder. Mitchell shoots down one 109, damages another. Then he hears the call. B-17 in distress. 10 o'clock low. 3 109s on it. The bomber is already trailing smoke, 1 engine dead, limping toward the coast. Mitchell dives, engages the 109s, gets 1. The 2nd breaks off. The 3rd stays with the bomber. Mitchell closes to 200 yards. His guns jam. All 8 of them. An oil line ruptured. Hydraulic fluid sprayed across the gun bays. He's flying a 7-ton paperweight. The 109 pilot sees Mitchell drop back, realizes he's defenseless. The German reverses. Now Mitchell is a target. He does the only thing he can. He runs, full throttle, diving for the deck. The P-47 hits 500 miles per hour in the dive. The 109 stays with him. 20mm cannon rounds snap past his cockpit. 1 hits his rudder. Another tears through the right wing. Mitchell pulls out at 500 feet. The 109 overshoots. That's the only thing that saves him. The German zooms back up. Mitchell stays low, hedge-hopping across France at 300 feet. Fuel gauge dropping, no weapons, no radio, alone. He makes it back to England on fumes. The ground crew counts 47 holes in the aircraft. Mitchell spends the night throwing up from the adrenaline crash. May 1943, he's back in the air. 2 more victories. 10 confirmed kills. The press starts calling him the Eagle of the 56. They write stories about the oil field kid from Bakersfield. His mother sends him newspaper clippings. He keeps them in his footlocker, never reads them. August 1943, his war ends. Not with glory, with physics. A routine patrol over the North Sea. Heavy weather, 0 visibility. Mitchell gets separated from his flight. His compass starts spinning. Gyroscope failure. He's flying in clouds with no instruments, no navigation, no idea which direction is England. He breaks through at 1,000 feet. Ocean below. No landmarks. No islands. He picks a direction and flies. 20 minutes later, he sees land. He's so relieved, he almost doesn't notice the beach obstacles. The Atlantic Wall. He's over occupied France. The engine starts sputtering. Fuel starvation. He's been flying on auxiliary tanks. The main tanks are dry. The P-47 loses power. Mitchell puts it down in a field near Calais. Hard landing. The landing gear collapses. The aircraft cartwheels. Mitchell wakes up in a German field hospital. Concussion. 3 broken ribs. Dislocated shoulder. The Luftwaffe treats him well. The Germans respect pilots. They give him medical care, food, even cigarettes. Then they transfer him to Stalag Luft 3. Stalag Luft 3 is an officer camp in Silesia. Wooden barracks, barbed wire, guard towers, 10,000 Allied airmen, Americans, British, Canadians, Australians. The camp is run by the Luftwaffe, not the SS. That distinction saves lives. The commandant, Friedrich von Lindener, follows the Geneva Conventions. Prisoners receive Red Cross parcels. They're allowed mail. They're not beaten. They're not starved. But they're still prisoners. Mitchell spends 6 months there. The prisoners organize. They build escape committees, dig tunnels, forge documents. March 24th, 1944, 76 prisoners escaped through a tunnel they've been digging for a year. The Great Escape. The Gestapo recaptures 73 of them. Hitler orders 50 executed, shot in the back of the head, and cremated. The SS delivers the ashes to the camp in urns. Von Lindener is court-martialed for allowing the escape. He's replaced by an SS officer. Everything changes. The new commandant cuts rations, bans Red Cross parcels, institutes random beatings. Prisoners start dying. Dysentery, pneumonia, despair. January 1945, the Eastern Front collapses. The Red Army is advancing into Poland. The Germans evacuate Stalag Luft 3. They force the prisoners to march west in the middle of winter. The Long March. 10,000 men walking through snow and ice. Temperatures below zero. Prisoners are wearing the same uniforms they were shot down in, no winter gear. They walk for 60 miles in 5 days. Anyone who falls is shot. 200 men die on the road. Mitchell survives. He helps carry wounded men when they collapse. Shares his rations. Keeps moving. They end up at Stalag 7A near Munich. Overcrowded. Filthy. 3,000 prisoners in space meant for 500. Food runs out. The guards disappear. The prisoners are eating grass, tree bark, anything. April 29th, 1945, American tanks roll through the gates. Patton's Third Army. Mitchell walks out. He's lost 40 pounds. Can barely stand. But he's alive. June 1945, Mitchell is back in California. Medical discharge. The war in Europe is over. Japan is still fighting. Most men would take the discharge and go home. Mitchell volunteers for the Pacific. There's a problem. The Geneva Conventions prohibit former POWs from fighting in the same theater. If the Japanese capture him, they could execute him as a spy. He's seen too much of German prison camps. Mitchell argues his case. He wasn't a POW in the Pacific. Different theater. Different enemy. The brass doesn't care. The regulations are clear. Mitchell finds a loophole. Transfer to a different branch. August 1945, he joins the Navy. Naval aviation. New uniform. New training. New mission. They put him in a Grumman F-6F Hellcat. The Hellcat is the Pacific's apex predator. Pratt and Whitney engine, 2,000 horsepower. Top speed 380 miles per hour. 650 caliber machine guns. Combat radius 945 miles. The Hellcat has killed more Japanese aircraft than any other American fighter. Mitchell names his Hellcat Eagles return, like he's come back from the dead. September 1945. The war ends before Mitchell sees combat in the Pacific. Japan surrenders. He expects to go home. Instead, the Navy sends him to China. The Chinese Civil War is reigniting. Nationalist forces under Chiang Kai-shek fighting communist forces under Mao Zedong. American policy is to support the nationalists, not with troops, with advisors, equipment, logistics, and pilots. Mitchell is assigned to fly transport missions, C-47s, medical supplies, food, ammunition, into nationalist-held territory. It's not combat flying, but it's dangerous. Communist forces control large sections of the countryside. They have anti-aircraft guns, Soviet-supplied. They shoot at anything that flies. March 18, 1945, Mitchell is flying a different mission, not transport, reconnaissance. The Navy wants aerial photos of communist positions near Shanghai. Mitchell volunteers, takes an F-6F up at dawn. He's supposed to fly high, take photos, come home. He's at 12,000 feet when he sees it. A B-24 Liberator, American markings, flying low and slow toward the coast. Mitchell doesn't recognize the tail number. Checks his mission roster. No B-24 scheduled for this sector. He moves closer. The bomber is definitely American, but something is wrong. It's flying at 8,000 feet, straight toward a known Japanese naval concentration. The war is over, but not everyone got the message. Pockets of Japanese forces scattered across the Pacific. Some are still fighting. Some are just trying to get home. Intelligence reports indicated a Japanese convoy near Shanghai. 3 destroyers. 1 light carrier. Remnant forces heading north to Korea. The convoy has orders to sink any aircraft that approaches. They don't care if the war is over. They're survivors. They're dangerous. And this B-24 is flying straight toward them. Mitchell tries the radio. B-24, this is Navy Eagle Leader. Identify yourself. Static. He tries again. B-24, you're approaching hostile waters. Japanese naval forces in your sector. Alter course immediately. Nothing. The bomber maintains heading. Steady. Unwavering. Mitchell closes to within 500 feet. He can see the crew through the cockpit windows. The pilot is focused on instruments. The co-pilot is checking a map. They have no idea what's ahead of them. He pulls alongside, rocks his wings. The universal signal for follow me. The B-24 pilot looks over, waves, smiles, gives a thumbs up. He thinks Mitchell is escorting him. Mitchell points down, points away, shakes his head. The pilot gives him a confused look, shrugs. The bomber keeps flying. Mitchell looks ahead. He can see the convoy now. Dark shapes on the horizon. The Japanese have seen the bomber too. Mitchell spots fighters launching from the carrier deck. Black dots climbing toward them. Zeros. Maybe 20 of them. The B-24 has 2 minutes. Maybe less. Those zeros will tear it apart. Mitchell has been in this situation before. Over Dieppe. Over Bremen. Over occupied France. He knows what happens when a lone bomber faces fighters. The bomber crew doesn't have a chance. 23 men. He counted the crew roster in the briefing this morning. 23 Americans who think the war is over, who think they're flying a routine mission, who have no idea they're about to die. Mitchell keys his radio. Tries one more time. B-24, this is Eagle Leader. You must turn back. Hostile fighters inbound. This is your last warning. The radio crackles. A voice breaks through. This is Air Transport Command, Flight 714. We have navigation failure. Compass malfunction. We're trying to reach Shanghai. What hostiles? The war is over. The pilot's voice is calm, confident, completely unaware. Mitchell looks ahead. The zeros are at 5,000 feet now, climbing fast. 1 minute. Mitchell makes a decision that will define the rest of his life. He pulls ahead of the B-24, lines up on the number 2 engine, outboard left, the most visible target. He doesn't aim for center mass. He doesn't aim to kill. He aims to disable. His finger hovers over the trigger. He thinks about everything that led to this moment. The farm in Bakersfield, the oil fields, the dreams of flying, Dieppe, Bremen, Stalag Luft 3, the long march, every choice that brought him here. 23 Americans are about to die unless he stops them. He squeezes the trigger. The 650 caliber guns roar. Tracers arc across the sky. The burst is surgical, precise. He walks the rounds across the B-24's engine cowling. Metal shreds. Smoke pours. The propeller seizes. The number 2 engine dies. The B-24 lurches, loses altitude, but stays airborne. 1 engine down. 3 still running. The bomber can still fly. Mitchell shifts aim. Number 1 engine. Inboard left. He fires again. Another burst. This one longer. The engine explodes. Fire blooms. The bomber shudders. The pilot banks hard, turning away from the convoy, turning toward land. Mitchell follows, provides cover. The Zeros are close now. They've seen the B-24 turn back. They break off, return to the carrier. Mitchell escorts the bomber to an emergency landing strip 40 miles inland. Chinese nationalist airfield. The B-24 puts down hard. 2 engines dead. Landing gear barely functional. The aircraft skids 500 feet before stopping. Mitchell lands 5 minutes later. The B-24 crew is standing on the tarmac. Furious, the pilot storms toward Mitchell's Hellcat. You shot us down. You damaged our aircraft. What the hell were you thinking? Mitchell climbs down. Doesn't say anything. Just points toward the coast. The pilot follows his gesture. Sees the smoke on the horizon. Sees the convoy. Sees the fighters circling. Understanding dawns slowly. The anger drains from the pilot's face. You saved us. Mitchell nods. You were flying into a trap. Your radio was damaged. I had no way to warn you. The pilot stares at the convoy, at the Zeros, at the destruction that almost happened. Jesus Christ. 23 of us. Mitchell doesn't respond. Just walks toward the operations shack to file his report. The pilot follows, grabs his arm. I need to know your name. For the report. For the record. Captain Frank Mitchell, 63rd Fighter Squadron, currently assigned Naval Aviation. The pilot shakes his hand. Lieutenant Colonel Paul Henderson, Air Transport Command. I'm writing this up. What you did, you shot down an American aircraft, destroyed government property. You should be court-martialed, but you saved 23 lives. The Navy